Do I need all these games? Why do I keep collecting all these retro titles? Because there's no possible way I'll ever be able to play all of them. As a retro gamer and creator, I ask myself this question all the time, and I've seen a couple videos lately, mainly from Smash JT and the Game Chasers, which kind of cover this topic. And I thought it would be fun maybe to experiment a little bit. I normally don't go very off the cuff, but we're going to try it this time and just kind of give you my thoughts about retro gaming, maybe some insecurities I have, just whether the goods and the bads, all that kind of stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy. And maybe you don't care about my opinion, and that's cool, but I'm just going to give you mine. It was really strange when I saw Smash JT's video here recently. He was back in his parents' house in his old game room growing up. It was really cool to see his perspective of that because I had a similar experience a few months ago. I was back home at my parents' house in West Virginia, and I saw my old entertainment center where I would play all of my games. And I took a picture and shared it with some of my buddies. Just imagine I had my NES up here on the left, I had my Sega Genesis games and original console up here on the right until I got my Model 1 Sega CD, and I had to put it on the very top of the cabinet, and then I had the Sega 32X on top of that. That's the original Magnavox TV that I'd used for years down there. And on the bottom I had my Panasonic 3DO. I mean, it was so cool just to see all this and take a picture and share it with my friends, but it's one of those things at the same time I had a feeling of this thing is completely empty now, and it just felt kind of sad. I don't know, I had like one of those moments where I'm like, why do I really do this? I mean, this was years ago. Are you trying to live in the past? Like I don't have a great life now? I mean, that's definitely not the case. I have a great family. My wife and my kids are awesome. They support all my crazy nerd habits. So I'm having this inner turmoil with myself, whether or not this is cool or not cool, whether I should be doing this, but ultimately at the end of the day, I thought it was okay. Why do we feel bad like that? Why do I feel like there's a stigma with retro gaming, like you're just trying to hold on to something in the past? And why do I keep collecting all these games when I know I can really never play all of them? And for me, I definitely think it's obviously nostalgia for me, going back to some great memories I had gaming growing up, especially the NES. Obviously, you guys know that's the strongest one I'm tied to. I mean, just tons of great memories playing that console. I mean, I can immediately see a label or hear music from a game and just immediately be taken back to some great times. And when I really first started getting back into collecting some games a couple years ago, it's one of those things that just at first I wanted to kind of get some games that I had lost over the years and just want to rebuild my original collection. But then, you know how it is, it just slowly builds and you start seeing, oh, this is a rare game, or this is a game that AVGN talked about and you never had. And you kind of get sucked into that vortex of just buying all these NES games, at least I was, knowing good and well they'll just sit on a shelf at the house. Am I really wasting my money doing this? I mean, why can't you just move on to new gaming? Or like, hey, you're an adult now, you don't have to do this. But it's so odd, and I'm sure you've probably experienced this too. Nostalgia is powerful. It can be addicting. Just that rush of going into a retro store, seeing something that you haven't seen in 30 years, it really does make you feel like a kid again sometimes. And I've had a little bit of my share of buyer's remorse, or I get it all home, I get everything cleaned up and set and put on the shelf, and I'm like, oh man, this looks great. Then I'm like, why do I have this shelf? It's kind of sad at the same time. But I really don't think it's sad. I mean, why is it any different than someone who likes to collect stamps or collect baseball cards? It's something that I'm just not interested in, but I mean, I don't judge them for it. If they like it, I mean, that's awesome. But at least when you collect these games, you can actually do something with them. Yes, I still have my original consoles and cartridges. I can play them if I want to. It's not just literally sitting there collecting dust. Well, sometimes. But retro gaming, for me, isn't just about the games. It's grown to so much more than I ever thought it would. First off, with just meeting people at the retro stores, knowing there's like-minded people that have a passion for gaming just as much as you do. I remember back, 10 or 12 years ago, however long AVGN was doing videos, seeing his videos for the first time and seeing somebody, it's like, hey, this guy played this game too, and he kind of feels the same way I did, and it made you feel less self-conscious about it, and that basically got the ball rolling for everybody. And there is just something special about having a physical copy of something. People can say what they want, but it's true. And just like with my kids, Blake and Emma, they don't ever say, "Hey Dad, remember that time I downloaded that app on the phone and we played that game? It was so awesome. It's some of my best memories of childhood." No. They'll remember that toy that they had their hands on. They'll remember that Wii U or that Switch that they had their hands on, physically interacted with. The human connection to the object is key, I think. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that to stir up nostalgic feelings, old memories that you can have stories about. I mean, it's no different than having old sports stories from high school and all that stuff, which I'm not a total nerd. I was a student athlete and I played sports in college. So, I mean, I can relate to both and I don't see why one gets a stigma over the other. I'd say 90% of my collecting and retro gaming experience has been positive. I mean, just all the people that I've met through the retro gaming stores and going to retro game conferences and starting the YouTube channel. I would have never dreamed Generation Gap Gaming would have connected with this many people, and it's awesome. I love interacting with everybody on our community page and in the comments. And the kids and I can't wait till Southeast Game Exchange in August down in South Carolina, where we'll actually be doing our own panel and our legit special guests. I mean, we're so pumped. We went there last year and got a media pass where we were a channel, but I think we were just over 1,000 subscribers then. So man, it's crazy how much we came in just a year. But man, I picked up a lot of cool retro games. I met a lot of creators that I became friends with, and it's just so good to see people in person, and they're just as genuine as they are on YouTube. It was an awesome experience. I mean, this video didn't start out as to plug Southeast Game Exchange, but it's going to take place on August 24th and 25th down in Greenville, South Carolina. I can put a link in the description for the website if you guys would want to come down. I'd love to be able to meet you, and I know you won't regret coming. Let me know what you guys think about the whole collecting experience, whether you feel weird about it sometimes or mostly you're generally positive. I just want to know what you guys think. But I'm not going to stop collecting anytime soon. And I just hope Blake and Emma don't get rid of my stuff before I'm gone, so that's kind of a rule. And Blake and Emma are great sports about my retro gaming. They like to go hunting for games with me. I know they may be thinking, "Oh, Dad, why are you doing all this old stuff?" But they're the best kids in the world, and I love them for it. And I hope they always have good memories of us hunting for games together. So the answer to this question, do I need all these games? Yes. Deal with it. G3 out.